everyone, and good morning. Well, as most of us know, the importance of gut health now and how gut is our second brain. That's exactly the topic we are going to be talking with Manish Chandra. Manish is a certified Ayurveda doctor from California, and he has been practicing Ayurveda for the last 10 plus years, and he has healed a lot of guts. I'll tell you that, a lot of guts in the last 10 years. I am Amita from NourishDoc, a platform for natural and holistic therapies. I would like to welcome Manish Chandra, who's joining me live right now from California. Welcome, Manish. And welcome everyone here.
Thank you, Amita. Good morning. So this is like, I am in Santa Cruz, California. I'm near San Francisco. Actually, I'm near where Amita is. We're in the Bay Area. This is 10 o'clock in the morning here, Pacific Standard Time. Welcome wherever you may be. We saw somebody is from India, Thailand, Romania, UK. So there are a lot of people, Canada, New York City, Charlotte. So there are a lot of people from everywhere in the world. Thank you so much, Amita and NourishDoc, for having me this morning to share some, Ayurveda is such a like a ocean of wisdom, and I'm just barely getting started here in this vast science, like a science of life. So today's topic is about your digestive health and the gut health. It is critically important in Ayurveda for any kind of conditions. If your gut health is healthy, then you're likely to have a better immunity and the coping mechanisms for any kind of pathogens coming your way. So especially in the time of COVID, it is critical important to have your gut health, very healthy gut health, so that actually will keep you like a, provides you like a shield around you for any kind of illnesses or so forth. So we're going to talk about from the Ayurvedic standpoint. Ayurveda is one of the oldest medical system, and it goes back to like 5,000 years according to the text. It is known as science of life, and then I will talk about more and more as we go along. So I have prepared this slideshow today for today's presentation. And then anytime you have questions or concerns, just write us in that chat. So Amita will be monitoring that, and she'll ask the question. And if anytime you can stop me, raise your hand, and then Amita will unmute rather, and then you can speak. Okay. So the outline, by the way, but let me thank you so much, Amita, for your kind introduction. So I have been practicing Ayurvedic medicine in Santa Cruz, California, in downtown Santa Cruz for the last 8 years. Before that, I was doing a lot of research after I finished my master's degree locally here in California, Northern California. So it has been quite a journey for me. So this is my practice in Santa Cruz, which is, hour and a half south of San Francisco, those of you who have been to this area. So that's what I do. And I specialize and I focus primarily on the gut health. That's why Amita and the NourishDoc invited me to present this today. So this is our outline: introduction to gut health, understand the imbalances in Agni. Agni it's a Sanskrit word. Agni is a metabolic strength according to the modern medicine. It's often known as metabolism. Is in Ayurveda, we believe that there is a central Agni in your gut, which really processes your food. Your food becomes nutrients when you have a proper digestive fire or Agni in your gut. If we have an improper or imbalanced Agni or the digestive fire, then your food you are receiving or eating would not be digested properly. When that happens, there's likelihood you'll be creating ama. Ama means undigested food, undigested emotions, mostly are stored in our fat cells. And that's the primary reason why we start to gain weight when our digestive system has been going south, because in our gut, there's so much fat mass to protect our internal organs. That's what the evolution of our gaining weight starts in our hip line, right? So all these fats starts to accumulate, but we do need the healthy fat. But when we're accumulating ama, undigested food or toxins, then we start to accumulate a lot of fat mass, which are not good. And then we're going to talk about, sorry, I moved, sorry about that. Okay, and then we're going to talk, I have established this 6R protocol to address the gut health, and we'll be talking about that later, and some of the Ayurvedic concepts to heal digestion using the 6R approach. So that's our game plan today. Again, you can stop me at any time and ask questions or send a question by chat. Troubles for gut health. Most of you obviously know this is no secret: poor diet and nutrition. And unfortunately, in our modern, modern day society, we have a lot of processed and refined foods. Mostly processed food are those who are packaged foods, and also things they are like, you can take home and easily reheat in the microwave. Those are consider are very toxic for your body. Those are processed food. It has no nutrition because you don't know when it was made, how long it has been sitting in the shelf. So there's no proper nutrition. Obviously, our tongue is happy because sometimes it could be very tasty, but it's really not good for the gut. So processed and refined foods, overuse and misuse of foods, due to the stress or emotional anxiety or other reasons, we tend to eat so much. And if we are sad, we eat too much. If we're happy, we eat too much. So we are really misusing the food in the modern day. So we need to address that. Not eating based on the seasons is another reason for the gut health. We have to follow the season. Right now we are in the we call it in Ayurveda the Vata season. Vata is a dry and cold season. So this time we're supposed to eat a lot of root vegetables and a lot of hardy grains. Like if you eat meat, then bone broth or others, very hardy food. This is the time, actually, it's usually typical we gain some weight in the winter months, and then actually we shed those excess pounds we have accumulated in the winter. In the springtime, like a March or so, we shed them, right? So this is a seasonal eating we have to follow in Ayurveda. Attraction to fat diet. So sometimes we're doing all kind of a diet regimen, but it doesn't work. I mean, people lose weight or for temporarily, but then the weight comes right back. So when we are attracted to these fat diets out there in the marketplace, eating in a hurry, it's a terrible thing. In Ayurveda, we talk about mindful eating. And then when we're eating in a hurry, it doesn't really assimilate properly in your gut, and there's a problem. So when the food is not assimilated properly, what happens? We are creating ama. Ama means toxins or undigested foods. Let's go to the next slide. Importance of gut health in Ayurveda and allopathy. Allopathy is it's a term for modern medicine, or Western medicine is also it is also called Western medicine. So the properly functioning Agni is a metabolic strength or digestive fire, and digestive system is so critical. One of the saying in Ayurveda, everyone, is we treat the gut to treat the brain, not the other way around. In allopathy, if somebody has like a problem like a depressions or all kind of mental diseases, we tend to give them like a medication for the brain. But then really in Ayurveda, we actually treat the gut. Why? And you'll understand in this next couple of slides why is that. 60 to 80% of our immune system is located in our gut. See, in the time of COVID, what do we need to focus on is how do we like strengthen our gut health so that we acquire the healthy immunity. This is our focus in Ayurveda during these times of COVID. That's what we approach any kind of illnesses or any kind of like diseases out there. We tend to focus on the gut health, because if we fix the gut, we fix the overall health. 60 to 80% of our immune system, we look at it in the gut. Critically important gut bacteria. I'm sure you have heard this word microbiome. So it's a gut bacteria, gut flora is in our gut. So we need to foster them with the healthy microbes. We have both healthy bacteria and unhealthy pathogens. When we are faced with pathogens in our gut, so when we have good healthy bacteria, they fight that off and then we don't get sick. So but if we lack the healthy bacteria, then whenever we are faced with the pathogens or the virus or bacteria into our system, then we get sick. So we need to maintain those healthy gut bacteria. So if your bacteria were lined up end to end, there's so much. One of the book, it talks about we are nothing but bacteria, right? This is more like a allopathic, belief, is that we are nothing but bacteria. We have so much. And there's a gut and skin axis. What does that mean? There's a direct relationship of your gut health with your skin health. You may have noticed sometime, whenever our digestive system is going south for a while, we have pimples or acne or all sort of things. It's seen in our skin. And the gut-brain axis, whenever our digestive system is poor, we have this so-called foggy brain, and we're not able to decide properly, lack of clarity, and then all kind of, we feel stuck, depression, anxiety, stress, all of those are observed. So again, gut and brain axis. So it's so important.
We have a question.
Okay,
Manish.
what is the question?
So the question is from Cynthia: should different foods be eaten at separate times during a meal? For instance, veggies at one time, legumes at another time?
That's a good question, Cynthia. In Ayurveda, our premise is the essence of Ayurveda is our body moves with the biorhythm of nature. What does that mean? So the sun is strongest. Right now in Santa Cruz, in the Bay Area right now, it's a really nice and sunny day. It's a little bit cold, but it's very nice and sunny outside, right? I'm in my office. It feels really nice right now. So between 12 and 2, the sun is usually very, very strong. So apparently, our digestive fire, our metabolic strength also is optimal between 12 and 2. So that's why we focus on having a main meal of the day between 12 and 2. It is easier to digest and process a big, nice meal at that time. But in the morning, 8 in the morning, the breakfast time, the sun is not strong. Your metabolic strength is not strong. Same in the evening, the sun kind of wanes down, 5 or 6 in the evening when it is setting. So our digestive strength, our Agni also wanes. So dinner is not the time we should be eating very heavy. The breakfast is not the time to be having eggs, potatoes, and bacon and all like a 3-course meal. That's not the time, but the lunch is the time to do it. But I'm absolutely familiar with the limitations. Most of us are working at the lunchtime, so we are not at our home. Maybe these days, most of us, are working from home, easy access to your kitchen. But in general time, before the pandemic, most of us are working and then we are at our offices, and it's hard to access to the kitchen and then have a nice meal in the lunchtime. But that is actually should be our focus, is how do we have the main meal between 12 and 2. If we can do that, that would be great. So answer you again, I kind of went in a long-ended way to answer your question, Cynthia, is if you're to have legumes, lentils, beans, I would focus on having that in the middle of the day. Vegetables and greens are easier to digest, so you obviously you can have for dinner time. But what I would avoid for dinner is this heavy eggs or meat or dairy are classified as hard to digest food. Those are the food I would like to see consume at the lunchtime. Vegetables, greens are usually, easier to digest. It doesn't matter what time of the day you are eating. I would always start my day with a fiber-rich food, usually like a oatmeal, for example. Not those instant oatmeal, but the the one like old-fashioned or steel-cut oats you have to cook. So why is that? You want to start your day with a fiber-rich food. What does the fiber does? Fiber cleanses your intestinal lining. There's a mucus in your intestinal villi, and it cleanses your intestinal lining. And it also helps your bowel movement first thing in the morning. You have to have a bowel movement first thing in the morning. That is critical for the health, right? So therefore, we want to start our day with fiber-rich food, but not like a protein and fat-rich food first thing in the morning. That we need to save for the lunchtime. I hope that clarifies your questions. And again, you can ask.
We have another question. We have another question, Manish. Joanne is asking, how do I get rid of my irritable bowel syndrome completely? I've had it since 2009 and I want to stop taking the tablets. So I guess you talk about this.
Yeah, Joanna, that's something if, IBS or leaky gut syndrome, all of those are related to your, poor gut health, maybe going south for a long time. So it didn't obviously happen overnight. It takes some time for progression of any kind of imbalances in Ayurveda, right? So maybe I don't know how long has been, your eating habits, your lifestyle. We really need to look into that. That's something, if again, Amita and I will talk about that. If you guys are interested in addressing those individualized issues and problems, we have created this 3 months gut healing protocol. Perhaps you can join into that. So that might be beneficial for you, Joanne. But I mean, it's very hard for me to address IBS without knowing your food habits, your dietary habits, your lifestyle habits, the medication you had taken in the past. All of those things has to be looked at. So that is something we can discuss towards the end of this presentation, which I have created this 3 months gut healing protocol. Okay. Moving further here, gut is the second brain. The complex independent nervous system called ENS lines our gastrointestinal tract. It's interesting is actually in our gut, there's all this nervous system is in there. So ENS is in there. So ENS obviously contains many neurotransmitters, including serotonin, dopamine. So all of those, neurotransmitters are actually produced in your gut. So that's why it's so important. So 80% of them are made in the gut. And there's a two-way communication between the gut and the brain. So the neurotransmitters, which is produced in your gut, is going to your brain. So there's a two-way communication happening between gut and the brain through the vagus nerve. So it's so important, guys, that we have to maintain very, very good gut health. It's critical. Symptoms, so some of the symptoms of poor gut health And, Joanne was talking about IBS or leaky gut syndrome. These are the symptoms of those poor gut health. So bloating, gas, indigestion, nausea, food sensitivities. I have heard like, oh, I cannot have gluten, dairy, I cannot have nuts, seeds. So there's so many food sensitivities. So that is also a result of the poor gut health for a long time. Aches and pains, headaches, skin issues. See, I was talking about acne or other like skin issues. It is shown in your it is really the reflection of your gut health. Elimination problem, constipation, loose stools, weight gain. All of these are the signs and symptoms of the. So this is the beginning. So we really need to address, if you are having one of these things, we need to address that. We cannot kick can down the road. Okay. So this is one of the beautiful quotation here, Ashtanga Hridaya. It's one of the textbook of Ayurveda. There are three major textbooks. Ashtanga Hridaya is one of the textbook, and the signs and symptoms of ama means undigested food, also known as toxins in the body, right? So are clogging the channels, sense of heaviness, low energy, restlessness, lethargy, indigestion, congestion, expectoration, accumulation of waste, loss. So this is what the symptoms. If you have any of these symptoms, then we know you have ama in your fat. It's your fat lining, meaning there's so much accumulation of ama in your system. That means toxin. So we need to get rid of that first. And that's where the 6R protocol I'll be talking about later comes into play. Ayurvedic concepts of ama and agni. Ama is undigested food or toxins, and agni is the digestive fire. If you have a low digestive fire, there's a possibility you're going to start accumulate ama. All diseases begins in the gut. This is the Ayurvedic premise, okay? All diseases begins in the gut. Ama is the root cause of all disease, the accumulation of all toxins, because we are not able to break down those food properly. That's the root cause of all diseases. So problems with agni, such as weakening, vitiation, or imbalance, predisposed to creation of ama. So let's this is something I like to, the metaphor here is, if you are cooking something in your let's say in your cooktop, like in your stove. So if you're trying to cook something and the fire, the cooking, that stove fire is not optimal, the food's not gonna cook for hours and hours, right? Similarly, if you were to eat something and you have a very poor digestive fire, you're not gonna break down that food properly. So what happens over time is your food is not broken down, but it basically, it gets stored in your fat cells, mostly in your circulation, so it's there. So one day we accumulate ama, second day, weeks, months, and years, we have so much ama that you have, we already talked about some of the symptoms of accumulation ama in the previous slides. So you feel heavy, lethargy, no energy, also like a lack of sleep, like you cannot have a restful sleep at night, a little bit of depression, anxiety, all of those is the sign of ama and agni. Sama agni means the balanced agni, or optimal metabolism is what we are looking at in Ayurveda. That's what we are trying to. So for example, when I'm trying to see somebody for the first time, I am trying to observe what is their state of the agni, what is the state of the metabolic fire or metabolic strength, and how much ama they may be accumulating. So some of the diagnostic tools we do in Ayurveda is looking at your tongue diagnosis, and looking at your pulse. That gives us some of the understanding of your internal organs, what is going on. We can see all of your organs on your tongue. So liver, kidneys, heart, spleen, all of those are seen on your tongue, and then followed by your pulse diagnosis. That gives us a clear picture of your state of your health at the moment. So we are trying to understand your constitution. A constitution is your unique constitution you're born with. And then we're also looking at your current state of imbalances. And then we're really looking into your state of your digestive fire and how much ama if you have been accumulating for a while. Once we understand that, then our focus would be through the pure, like clean foods, preferably all organic, whole foods, whole grains. We're gonna, so slowly start detoxification process, and then restoration of healthy microbes and so forth. And that's when the 6R protocol comes in. Okay, going further here. So these are the 3 vitiated forms of digestive fire or metabolism. One is irregular metabolism. So some days you feel you digest and assimilate it well, other day you can't. So it's just like one of those things. Someday you feel great, another day you do not feel great, kind of a thing. So that is due to the irregular Agni. Someday you have a very high fire in your gut, digestive fire, and other day you don't. So it's like a every day it changes, like variation of Agni. The second situation is very, very sharp Agni. It's like, again, the cooktop, your stove. If you have extremely high amount of fire in your stove, then you're gonna burn the food, right? The food's gonna get burned. Similarly, here, if you have so much fire, then you're gonna, the food you ingest, it's gonna get burned. It's not gonna get broken down so you can assimilate nutrients. So we don't want that either. And the last situation is Manda, which is very low digestive fire or metabolism. Your stove is so low, it might take like a whole day to prepare that meal because it's not enough digestive strength to metabolize that food. So you cannot broken down. The food cannot be broken down properly. So those are the 3 conditions. The one we are looking at is in the previous slides, which is the Sama Agni. The Sama Agni is what we need, optimum metabolism, okay? But we don't need these 3 vitiated forms of Agni. Moving forward, some of the pathogenesis, ama is formed in the, so these are the things I was telling you. So most of the ama are created in your gut, in the liver. So liver has to do the brunt work, like to detoxification. So you may have heard this term fatty liver. So there's so much ama in the liver. So that's how the disease progresses. So this is a pathogenesis. This is how it starts. Ama is formed in the gastrointestinal tract, and then it goes into the general circulation, okay? And then there comes the 6R protocol. The 6R protocol is restore, remove, replace, re-inoculate, repair, and rejuvenate. So this is the protocol I have established, 6 years ago to address this your gut health. Did you have a question, Amita, or something?
No.
Okay.
I just, I think there was a follow-up from Cynthia, but I told them that, well, okay, there is a question now that so someone is asking now, what does it mean to have high bilirubin in the liver? What can you do to address?
What was the question again? Sorry, I didn't hear the first one.
Well, it was about the bilirubin in the liver. Someone has a high, if you have a high bilirubin in the liver, what can you do to address? Again,
I hate to recommend this typical like the case over the Zoom, because I don't know the full extent of the story for me to diagnose that. Because in Ayurveda, for example, if you have a headache, there are like 3 different kinds of headache we treat. Is it a Vata headache or a Pitta headache or the Kapha headache? So it's very hard for me to diagnose over the, I cannot generalize, because Ayurvedic medicine is a personalized medicine. It's not a generalized medicine. Like if somebody has a headache, we're not going to give them like a Advil. It may go away for time being. It could be from the metabolic disorder, or it could be from hormonal disorders, or it could be from stress and anxiety. So there's so many different, like sometimes you have a headache, from different reasons. So we have like a 3 classification of like a headache. Similarly, in the liver, there could be vata situation, kapha, and the pitta situation. So without knowing the full extent, I would hate to recommend a remedy. Okay, so I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah, now I just recommend that you go through your presentation, because there are a lot of questions coming up. I think it's better you finish your presentation and then we take the questions afterwards. I think it'll be more productive.
Okay.
So yeah, so please keep having the questions coming up, and we can take the questions in the end.
And then I'll do the best to my ability to answer them, but I'm not going to
Yes.
answer a question that is more like a generalized, meaning like I cannot cure over the Zoom right now. Okay.
Sure. Absolutely. Yes.
Ayurvedic foundational strategies is to first to strengthen your Agni, your digestive fire. That is our first objective. And then we always recommend a diet optimal for Prakriti and Vikriti. What is Prakriti means? Your constitution, like a DNA, for example, in modern medicine, right? Your DNA is your true essence. In Ayurveda, your Prakriti is your true essence. And the Vikriti is your current state of imbalance, if there is any. So that's what we do. We recommend the diet and the lifestyle based on your personalized constitution. And same with, like in Ayurveda, we often talk about food, optimal food combination. Dinacharya means your daily routine needs to be looked at. What do you do? What is your lifestyle? Do you do exercise, or do you move your body? Or how do you spend your day? What time of the day you eat certain foods? What time of the night you eat certain foods? So we need to look into that. And then the mindful eating. We cannot, like I was sharing earlier, we cannot eat in a hurry, because the food will not be broken down. As one of the actually, not just like eating in a hurry, but also when you're eating, not like trying to do 3, like a multitasking, like a 3 different things. Television, and you're talking to somebody and then trying to eat. Or oftentimes I see like people are eating in their car while they're driving. So that is not mindful, because we have to be fully present with all those tastes in that food. So that is critical. Support liver function and enhance detoxification. Always liver is critical, especially if there is a lot of ama in the liver. We need to address that, reduce the toxin exposure, encourage eating organic, sweating regularly. I cannot stress enough, because our lymphatic system, limbs they have to move. So we need to, move our body. So we sweat, and then we release the toxins. Also, we need to look at what kind of cleaning chemicals, like a household chemicals, are using, or cosmetics, because one of the things for those of you who are women is critically important in Ayurveda. Whatever we put on our skin goes through your skin transdermally, especially if it's applied heat, like if you're, like a sun or any kind of hot, it goes in. So we need to make sure what kind of cosmetics or what kind of chemicals we're putting in our body, and also similarly in the household, what kind of, are you using clean products, so that's something you can eat and it will not harm you. So those are the things we need to look at. So beets is, by the way, you guys, TMZ. So it's one of the best. Beets cleanse the liver. Okay, so beets are critical. It's also when we have a healthy liver, we are obviously we have a clean system. So it's important to have these red, yellow looking vegetables like beets and carrots and things like that. It's really critical for your liver health. Um, And some of the herbs, for the liver we use is turmeric. Most of you know turmeric. Now it's coming into the mainstream medicine. Ayurveda has been using this for thousands of years. Bhringaras, barberry, guruchi, mandista. Turmeric is more like a kitchen herbs. Everything else here are more like it needs to be done like a supervised. Turmeric is more like cooking. You can cook with foods. Turmeric is assimilated properly when it has lipid, some kind of a fat. That's why turmeric in Ayurveda is typically used for cooking with some kind of oil or ghee, or some kind of fat. It assimilates properly, and then also if it has black pepper, it assimilates even better. So Bringaras, barberry are more like Ayurvedic herbs for liver. Elimination is critical. We use this formula called Triphala in Ayurveda to have a good bowel movement. It's so critical for detoxification. By the way, in Ayurveda, at least my belief and according to the text I have read over the years, is we don't use any kind of supplements for a long time. I only use, excuse me, supplements or even Ayurvedic herbs for not more than a year. So it's not something one should be doing for a long time, like years and years. I often hear, oh, I do psyllium husk. I've been doing psyllium husk for 5 years. For otherwise, I don't have a bowel movement. I think if that's the case, we need to look at why are you not having a bowel movement. We really need to fix the problem and then go back to the basic, which is food. Let food be the medicine. That's actually the approach of Ayurveda. We don't use the supplementation for eternity. So avoid foods and chemicals that irritate the gut, like alcohol, excessive like caffeine that irritates and also very, very hot, like chili peppers and things like that also irritates your intestinal lining. So we have to be mindful about that when we have the gut issues. Plenty of fermented fibers. These are prebiotic and probiotic food. Bone broth, if you do meat, this is the time to be doing bone broth in the winter months. So in the winter months, we do more fat. Why is that? The healthy fat keeps, it's steady and then grounded in the winter. And also especially those of you who live in a severely cold places, it gives you insulation. So we need to actually have a little bit more fat content in our diet in the winter months, in the colder months, and then we get rid of those excess fat we have created in the spring and the summer. So that's the protocol in Ayurveda. So this is the time to be doing healthy fat. I'm not talking about those deep fried foods here, okay?
So Manish, there's a question is there a vegan option for bone broth?
Yeah, I mean, those of you who are vegans, you can use vegetable broth, do like a root vegetables, lots of root vegetables. In this colder months, we recommend not to be consuming a lot of raw foods because it's better for consuming warm cooked foods. So if you are a vegan, you cannot have dairy or meat. So just do a lot of vegetables, root vegetables out there. All the root vegetables usually are harvested in the fall. And so we have a lot of root vegetables available depending upon where you live. So a lot of root vegetables, obviously you cannot do the bone broth, but you don't have to be doing meat really. I mean, meat is more like a choice. I know so many people they're vegetarian and vegan and their health is just fine. It's not like this protein thing is a hype in my view. So there's protein from other sources. Like if you're vegan, do a lot of lentils, legumes, beans, a lot of vegetables and things like that will, obviously, I'm not a more proponent of these fake meats these days, like there are all kinds of fake meat, like a soy chicken. I'm not, because again, it's highly processed. So I believe in more like a cleaner diet, like a non-processed diet would be preferred over like these highly processed, like a soy meat or this or that. It's a little bit of alarming in my view, and we have seen that the ramifications in the gut health. So these are some of the herbs and spices we use in Ayurveda. I'm going to go through quickly. These are all, by the way, kitchen spices, and I use 7 spices. We have created our own spice box, and these 7 spices are in that spice box. And every time I'm cooking something or I'm sending the recipes to my clients, I always use these herbs and spices in the recipe. So there are so many things we can make in this fall and winter months, but some of these spices are critically important for your digestive health and the overall health. Ajwan is so amazing. It's a seeds. One of the reasons why I like to use the seed spices is seeds have oil in them. Once they're infused with oil when we're cooking, they open up, and that's what we need. I don't use a lot of powder, but this one here is a powder one, asafoetida or hing. This comes in a resin form or the powder form. So I have used both resin and this powder. This asafoetida is so critical. So in lentils and beans, those of you may have experienced like a gas and bloating after eating beans and lentils. We really have to pay attention how we are cooking. So traditionally it cooked for a long time. And also in the lentils and beans, in the skin, there is a protein called lectin. So that lectin has to be cooked, and this asafoetida helps cook that. So therefore it's critically important to use this herb when you are using legumes or lentils or beans. So it helps cook that properly. Pressure cooker is a good way to go, or a slow cooker, or even, you don't have to have those. You just have to cook for a while and then add these. Asafoetida, hing. Coriander seeds, it's a good one. It's basically cilantro seeds. It's from that family. So I have outlined their biomedical action down there. Dosha effect, VPK minus. What does that mean? Means there's a 3 doshic action, biomedical action in or biomedical humor. In Ayurveda, Vata, Pitta, and Kapha, those are your constitution or your dosha. So this one, it says dosha effect is Vata, Pitta, Kapha minus, means all doshas are reduced, meaning it helps all doshas, regardless of what doshas we're trying to address. Regardless of your doshic constitution, it helps. Either if you are predominantly Pitta type or Vata type or Kapha type, or if you have a current state of imbalance of any of those doshas, it helps. We call it tridoshic, means it helps all 3 doshas. Cumin seeds, I'm sure you guys have heard about this. Again, I like to use the seeds, not the powder. Once it's made the powder, the oil in them has already evaporated. We need that oil in this. Cumin seeds, fenugreek seeds, another one. This is a really good one. Those of you who are, lactating mothers, it's like it really helps the breast milk, and also it's one of the best herb. I like to use fenugreek, turmeric, and what is that? Cinnamon. Those 3 combination, turmeric, fenugreek, and cinnamon, equal proportion, I have used for people with diabetes. It has helped a lot because that's in Ayurveda. This is our diabetic formula. So see, alleviates symptoms of diabetes. So it's really a good one. I have used this many occasions. One time I used to this patient, they had told me like they've been taking this insulin for 28 years. So after doing the 6-month protocol, and then I used this and then changed their diet completely. There in 6-month period, their insulin was reduced to half. So his, that person's medical doctor, primary care, was like surprised. What is going on? We've been doing insulin for 28 years. Now your insulin has been reduced to half. So it does have some effect. But again, I want to highlight the herbal supplements is one thing, but the herbs is one part of it, but the diet and the lifestyle is the other part of it. So we have to crank all those three, not just one part. So there's no magic pill as long as we are not applying the dietary and the lifestyle approach as well. Ginger can, in this time of COVID, ginger, turmeric are critical. It really helps strengthen your gut health. And that's where the immunity is produced, right? So ginger is one of my favorite, especially in the colder months. It's so important. There's so many properties, anti-inflammatory properties or digestive. I can go on. So some of the properties are down there. Fenugreek, oh, sorry, I'm going backwards, sorry. Mustard seeds are another one I use a lot. Very good herb. And your turmeric, I cannot go on about turmeric. It's a hemostatic as well. I mean, not many people know about it. Ancient time, you guys, there was no Band-Aid, okay? So if somebody had a cut, what did they do? It has a hemostatic property. They would put like a little bit of turmeric, either the fresh turmeric or the powdered turmeric on the wound, and then it would stop bleeding. So it has a hemostatic property. So that's what they did back in the days when there was no Band-Aid. And besides, it has so many properties. Now they make these turmeric pills even, which is, I'm not a proponent of any kind of pills because these herbs has to be assimilated properly in your gut. And the gut is weak. How are you gonna synthesize those complex compounds in a capsule? I would rather see that in a food form.
So Manish, you talked about the diabetes, the three herbs. Could you repeat that? Someone had a question.
Yeah, the equal proportion of cinnamon powder, turmeric powder, and fenugreek seed powder. You make an equal proportion and have like a half teaspoon twice a day. But again, that alone will not do it as long as we are completely changing their diet and lifestyle, okay? But the formula I have used is equal proportion of turmeric powder, cinnamon powder, and fenugreek powder. And then I basically administered half teaspoon twice a day. So chronic stress in modern life, you guys, it's a killer. I mean, this is because we talked about all those neurotransmitters are produced in your gut, and then the stress depletes that. Stress basically, it creates a havoc in our life, especially in our gut health. That's why whenever we are faced with stress, especially when we're a kid, what happened? We had a tummy ache, right? When we're a kid. Now I understand why every time we're stressed out, we feel in our gut. So that's why we also call a gut instinct. Where is our intelligence coming from? Is from our gut, not from the brain. So therefore, we have to have a plan in place to address the stress in our life. It's critically important. So in Ayurveda, there is a pranayama. Pranayama means a breathing exercise, a yoga, meditation, moving your body. If you anywhere you live, like spending time in nature, that's my favorite, because we come from nature and we go back to nature, and that's our real home, really. That's when we feel like so great when we're in nature, in the redwoods or in the ocean or things like that. We feel great because we are that. We are part of that. We're part of the universal consciousness. Your individual consciousness is connected always with the universal consciousness. That's why you are the universe. So we need to have these strategies in place to handle the stress. Some of the strategies, consumption, so you guys, I'll let you read. Some of the strategies I outline here are important. Following that number 8 is circadian rhythm. So what does that mean? So following the rhythm of nature, going to bed few hours after sunset, or these days the sunsets around like 5:30 here, like not staying too late until 10 or 11, like going to bed at a decent time, 8 or 9 o'clock, rising with the sun like 6 or 7, and then eating a main meal in the middle of the day. Those kind of thing is following the circadian rhythm. And then modern science, you guys can read all sort of articles, the direct relationship between the circadian rhythm and your health. So now finally, Ayurveda understood this a while back, that now the modern medicine is caught up on this as well, the circadian rhythm. So this is one of the article from PubMed I attached here, why the circadian rhythm is so important, okay? Circadian clock, so 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. is a stomach time, apparently 10 to 12, so that's why we want to have our meal around like noon is a stomach time. 12 to a.m. or p.m. is heart, spleen. So in Ayurveda, there's a circadian clock. What time of the day or night our organs are active? This chart shows you what time of the day and night our organs are active. If you look at that 6 o'clock, 4 a.m. to 6 a.m., guess what happens? Colon, right? That's when we get up, we have a bowel movement. See, 4 a.m. to 6 a.m. Usually when we rise with the sun, so around that time is when we have colon and kidney active, and that's when we go to bathroom to urinate and we have a bowel movement, right? So colon and kidney is active 4 to 6. Similarly at night. So these are the time that lungs is, sometime we first time we wake up 6 to 8 a.m. in the morning, we also like get rid of all those excess mucus out. You may have heard like people like coughing a little bit to get rid of that mucus first thing in the morning, 6 to 8. Pancreas are active 8 to 10 a.m. or 8 to 10 p.m. So this is very interesting in Ayurveda. We talk about circadian clock. This is the conclusion. Digestive health is the foundation for overall health. When in doubt, always start treatment with the gut. Cleanse ama. Ama means undigested food or toxins. And then you can, combine. My approach has been, since I studied enough modern medicine in my pre-med, that I combine both approaches, although I didn't go to, Western medical school, but I finished my pre-med, and then I went to Ayurvedic college, and then did my master's in Ayurvedic medicine. So I like to, in the modern day, we have to approach from both perspectives to optimize the gut health, in my opinion. So that's why I like to, when I first see people, I like to see their blood markers. So I like to have them do the lab work to see what is happening in their blood work to understand. And then at the end of the protocol, we do it again to see what had changed. So this is our approach: restore, remove, replace, re-inoculate, repair, and rejuvenate. And these protocols will be critically important for those of you who will be interested in signing up in our gut healing protocol this is the 3 months, the 3 months to 6 months, depending upon how long do you guys want to do. Ideally, I recommend this for 6 months, but if you want to just do the 3 months, that is available. So what does that entail is every month, it doesn't matter where you are in the world. You could be in Romania or England or India or Ireland. It doesn't matter. We will have a video consultation once a month, and then we'll be doing an email communication, just like any questions or concerns. I'll be addressing that. Soon I get your email. We'll be sending the personalized recipes every single week based on your constitution. And if you need any Ayurvedic herbal supplements or anything, we recommend that, or I'll send it to you by mail. And also we'll send you the instruction of the self-oleation, which is critical in the gut health. And then also the yoga, meditation, and breathing videos will be sent out as well. So this is a detailed program I have, like I said, I have created last 6 years or so. Now this is obviously available digitally. And if you have questions and concerns, there's our email and the what do you call them, the website. And then thank you all. And then this is the perfect time to ask any questions, or if you want to speak, just raise a hand, and then Amita will let you in. Thank you all.
Sure. Yeah, thank you so much. I just want to add that whoever wants to enroll in the program that Manish was talking about, send us an email. We've written there, care@nourishdoc.com. So I just want to make sure that everyone has that. And what we will do is we will send you an email, with a landing page where to enroll. But in the meantime, if someone has any questions, we are here to answer. So now we can take, we have a lot of questions coming up. So let's go through the questions. Please.
Somebody also, Amita, I saw somebody raise their hand. I don't know who that is.
Yeah. You want to put the contact information slide before the thank you one? Someone is asking that right now.
Yeah, I'll do that.
The previous one, this one. So it's care@nourishdoc.com, and our website is nourishdoc.com, obviously. And if anyone is interested, we will be sending all the details of the program, all the thing where you can enroll. But in the meantime, if you have any questions, we are here for you, is what I'm saying. The program will start in February. That's what we are thinking. So you have at least 2 weeks, to ask any questions or anything. And Manish is here right now. We can answer questions. We're just trying to help a lot of people with the gut issues, because that's what we find. All right, so let's go through the questions now. Okay, so someone is saying, I noticed, you can put, you leave this right now, someone. Okay, so I think, Joanne, Joanne had to go, but I think she had a IBS, so she sent me a private message. So we will send her the information. Now the thing is, someone is saying, I noticed some Ayurvedic and other spice herbs are considered nightshades, like curry. Do you think those are likely problematic or likely not at all?
Well, in Ayurveda, that's a good question. In Ayurveda, one size does not fit all. So depending upon your predominant dosha, your constitution, and your current state of imbalance. So nightshades are not bad for everybody. But if you have a predominantly pitta situation, your pitta dosha is out of balance, I would not recommend nightshades. If you are having experienced a lot of acne or skin condition, that is telling me your liver needs some help, right? So if that's the case, I would avoid nightshades. So one size does not fit all. So the dietary regimen we will be recommending in this gut healing protocol is not like a generalized guidelines. Is one size does not fit all. So it'll be personalized. For some people, nightshades will be fine. For others, it's not. So it's not like a one size fits all.
Okay. So then we have a question on, someone asked about the spices. I think these spices are available as powders. Pretty much all over the world. So they were asking, do they need, how do they grind mortar and pestle? Do they need that in the kitchen? But I think most of the time, the electric grinders, I mean, I do that in my house, and the cumin seeds, but most of them, the powders are available all over the world. They might be available in Asian grocery stores, like Indian grocery stores, is possible, but here in America, Whole Foods, right? Manish, you want to add something to that?
Well, again, like I said during my presentation, when I'm cooking using those spices, except for asafoetida or hang and the turmeric, I use everything else like a seeds. All those seed spices you guys saw earlier, like cumin, coriander, fenugreek, mustard, all of those needs to be used as seeds. The only powder you can use is a turmeric and the hang, asafoetida. So everything else, I would prefer the seeds. Why is that? Because seeds have oil in them, and then once you are cooking with the oil, their oil is infused, opens up. The seeds are open up, and then you are getting the benefit of the oil in those seeds. So my recommendation, if you can, always buy those seeds, except for the turmeric and asafoetida.
Okay. Then someone is saying, what may be a series of belching that follow meals as well as on an empty stomach upon wake up be possibly due to? When you wake up in the mornings, there's a stomach belching, right?
Again, that is more like personalized condition. I need to know more information than that, because there are so many reasons it could happen. I need more information on that before I make my like a diagnosis or make a recommendation. Those are more like I need more information than
Sure,
just that.
absolutely.
Okay.
All right, so someone is saying, is histamine intolerance related to the gut microbiome? If so, what are the ways to treat histamine intolerance in relation to
Yeah,
Ayurveda?
yes, that is considered a gut related problem in Ayurveda. So again, there are three kinds of individuals, like a Pitta predominant, Kapha predominant, and Vata predominant. I need to understand what constitution you are first of all to make a perfect recommendation. So it's if you are a predominant Pitta person, the protocol will be a little bit different than if you are predominant Vata or the Kapha constitution. So those are the things I need to know. But yes, typically in Ayurveda, histamine, like allergies people have, like in the spring, like the flowers bloom and people are sneezing and all that. Those are the gut health related issue according to Ayurveda. Yes.
Okay. Sangeeta is asking, how do we reduce gut inflammation and reduce sensitivity? Well, you talked about your protocol, I guess.
Well, again, we have to start with the cleaner food. First of all, before even if we start the cleaner food, we have to first detox the body. Then we start the cleaner food. Then we restore the healthy microbes, like a healthy bacteria in your gut, both with the prebiotic food and the probiotic foods, and then slowly we restore the gut health, and then your irritation or your sensitivity all will go away. That's why it takes some time. It's a process, and during that time we are using your personalized diet, your personal lifestyle, and also some of the herbs we talked about are used for cooking, and also some of the Ayurvedic herbs are used during that time as well.
Okay, so in relation to the answer to Cynthia's question on the eating time, if you remember, should we eat after sunset? That can be early as around, say, 4 p.m. in winter or as late as 10 p.m. in summer. So would you eat your evening meal time accordingly, according to the seasons?
That is correct. That is a great question. And yes, I would not wait until 10 o'clock, regardless of the summer times. 10 o'clock is way too late. If you look at I put the slides about the circadian clock, what are the organs are active. 10 o'clock, in my opinion, is too late. But then obviously, summertime, we have more light. Maybe you can go like a 7 o'clock dinner in the summer. And then maybe winter months, I would go like a 5:36, a little bit earlier, because it's like we get dark earlier. But again, the rule is you don't want to have a heaviest meal for dinner. You want to have a lighter meal for dinner, lighter meal for breakfast, and the main meal, if possible, for the lunchtime in the middle of the day.
Okay. Kulbir is asking, what if the person is anemic and has had proton pump inhibitor for about 20 years? So I guess what the question is that can gut health be?
Well, we of course, we always start with the gut health. Again, I need more information on that particular issue. I need to ask so many questions, which is obviously it's not possible in this forum, in the public forum. Those are the questions I want to ask. So many details of how long has it been going on? What are the lifestyle? What are the history? What is the medical history? So many questions needs to be asked before making a proper diagnosis.
Okay. So we have Aman, she's commenting, I've read scientific articles stating that South Asian population are lactose intolerant, affecting more than 80%. Is there any literature on this in terms of Ayurveda on the lactose intolerance or Asian population correlation?
That I have not heard that. Actually, what I have heard in a literature was more and more people are lactose intolerant because what really happens, Amita, is that the milk has these protein, all the healthy bacteria in the milk, but when it goes through the homogenization and pasteurization process, they are both the healthy microbes and the bad bacteria, and the healthy ones are also killed. So when we are not getting those healthy ones, then your body, if you have a weak digestive system, your body cannot digest that. And that is classified as lactose intolerant. But what I realized is when people are doing like raw milk, when that milk is not pasteurized, traditionally, way back then, people didn't have the pasteurization and homogenization process, and then people, all they did was they milked the cow and then, or goat or sheep, and then they had this milk just boiled, and then people were able to digest fine, because milk has to have those healthy microbes for your body to digest, especially if you are a weaker digestive system. So in my opinion, the lactose intolerance is related to that, the homogenization and pasteurization process. And I have seen people when they went back to the raw milk and raw dairy, and they had no issues.
Yeah.
Again, I'm not recommending that, but understand where you are in this spectrum.
Sure. Cynthia has a comment, a very interesting comment. She says, love the sun mirror behind you, Manish. Very positive vibe in your presentation.
Oh, that's nice. I mean, it's a mirror. One of my office manager installed that a couple of years ago, and then I was fine with it, So I was happy that she did. So
it's the aura around you that's amazing. Anyway, moving on, Sangeeta is saying, how do we help strengthen liver to reduce fatty liver?
Oh yes, I mean that's again, we have to detox your body, which is your liver. In that gut healing protocol, that's how we starting with the liver, and then we go into the cleaner diet, and we have to increase the things like beets and other root vegetables and bitter greens. Some of the bitter greens like kale, chard, dandelion greens. These are bitter greens. One of the saying is bitter helps the liver. So we have to increase that. But nobody likes bitter taste, right? But the bitter taste is the best for the liver. So we have to change your diet and lifestyle, and then perhaps do the protocol like somehow moving your body, so you're also releasing the excess toxins through the limbs in a daily basis.
Sure. Do you want to go for the previous slide? Because someone has a question on what is included in the thing, the gut protocol. No, previous. Yeah, this one. So someone's asking, what is the range of the time that the 6-hour protocol lasts for? ? Would these steps overlap over that time? Like, for example, clearing the bad bacteria and adding probiotics at the same time? So if you can just
Well,
expand on what you're going to do for 3 months, you talked about the preferably 3 months, right?
well, the 3 months is more like a condensed version. If people don't have, patience or time for 6 months, but that's why I started the 6 months, which covers all those 6 hours. So each month I address 1 hour, right? We
Yeah.
start with 1 hour, I start with the restore first month, go into remove second month, replace third month, renoculate fourth month, repair, rejuvenate is the last month. So this is what we do, but we just have to condense those. Maybe I have to work on like a 2 hours each month, so to finish that in 3 months. So that would be a little bit of a push, but we have come up with this 3 months for people who may not have time for all 6 months.
Yeah, yeah. We thought we'll give, I mean, we've priced it at on a per month basis, but if you were to enroll in the 3-month program, we can, Manish I can squiggle a little bit discount from it, so we can do that. But let us know. But this is what is going to be included, right? That we have written over there. Manish's one-on-one video consultation. I think we just want to specify that. The first is on one-on-one, your personalized consultation. Then he'll be available emails, recipes, herbs, self-care, Ayurvedic massage. He talked about that, and yoga and meditation.
Yeah.
Okay.
And by the way,
Right.
that video consultation, regardless whether you choose 3 months or 6, it'll be
Yeah.
every single month. I'll be meeting
Correct.
you over the Zoom every single month, not just like
Yes.
one time, but 6 times.
Yes. That's why I wanted to clarify that. So if you were to do 6 months, so you're going to have Manish with this beautiful mirror in the background 6 times. Just but he will be meeting with you every month. That is the fundament. That is the difference, because he's created a personalized program. I wanted to add that. Okay, so I think we are quite a few minutes over the hour. Any other questions?
But there are a couple of people had raised hand. Did you
Yeah,
know
let
who
me
are these
see.
people raised
Yeah.
hands?
So someone is saying, "Will I get an e-certificate?" This is not a. This is not. This is just to help you. We are not giving e-certificates. Manish, when he starts teaching, we are going to be rolling on the professional courses. Then we can give e-certificates. Okay, so someone is saying, "Thank you, Amita, to the good doctor. Best wishes for the new year. Thank you for answering." All right. Any other questions? I'm just trying to make sure that I've taken care of all the questions here. And we gave you
Did anybody, my question is, did anybody wanted to talk or say anything? Because I had seen people had raised hands,
Yeah,
but I don't see who they
yeah.
are.
I can unmute if someone wants to be
Mhm.
unmuted. We don't have a problem.
Yeah,
Cynthia
raise your
said,
hand. This is the time. Raise your hand, please.
okay, I've unmuted Cynthia and Sangeeta. Two people have, do you want to, Manish, just
Okay.
stay here.
Okay.
Cynthia and Sangeeta. All right. So this is saying, Ellen
Did
is
they raise
saying,
their hand?
no. What is the
Hello.
course? Sangeeta is talking about that.
Oh, she's talking.
Yes. Go
Hello.
ahead.
Hello, Manish and Amita. Thank you for answering so many questions. I think one of my main concern was how to reduce gut inflammation, which you did address, which is, thank you so much for that. Uh, and the liver, sort of fatty liver. So I think you've answered both of those questions in the presentation. So thank you. That's all.
And
Oh, thank you.
Sangeeta, where are you joining from, Sangeeta?
I'm joining from the UK, but I'm actually
Oh,
from
cool.
America. So
That's great. That's great.
yeah, I'm from Atlanta, but I'm joining from UK.
Oh, cool, cool.
Yeah,
Great.
Your
so
Well,
thank you so
thank
much.
you.
Yeah, feedback is very important, Sangeeta. Someone is commenting, Dave is commenting, the slideshow was excellent. Could we get a copy of it? We will be sending the replay, the video of our session today, especially the slides on the seats. Like I said, we will be emailing the entire replay as well as the more like a landing page. If you want to join his program, you can you can join. So we'll be sending an email and the landing page on that. But in the meantime, if you have more questions, that's where we have our email and our website. All right.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. All right. So someone is saying, thank you so much for all this important information. Looking forward to some of the suggestions. Okay. I think anything else before we wrap up? Any other comments, any other feedback?
We have basically, you guys, I could be here for another 10 minutes, so I'm not in a hurry. How about you, Amita?
Yeah, no, I'm fine. Someone's saying, I think people are just commenting and thanking you for a great session. This was great informational session. That's what people are. If there is any other question, we are here for another few minutes. Cynthia, yes.
So
Cynthia,
let's address this. Okay, Cynthia, go ahead.
Oh, no, you answered my question already, and thank you very much.
You're
okay,
welcome.
Cynthia. And Cynthia, and what I was gonna say was the previous question about the slides.
Yes.
You will be sending this recording to all the participants, or what is happening again?
Yes. So what I will do is, Manish, I didn't want everyone to get so overwhelmed. So we will be sending the replay of this entire recording. And as well as we'll send a landing page to all the registered attendees on how, if they want to join your course, they can do so. So we'll be sending all that information to everyone who registered. Okay.
Great.
But this was amazing. There were over 120 people registered for this particular session. We have another, okay, so Sangeeta is asking, are you able to diagnose over Zoom?
Yeah, that's the whole point. Basically, that's why we have this video consultation. The first time when I see you for the first time, I'll probably be spending 1 hour to hour and a half. And then we'll ask you a bunch of questions and everything. So make a diagnosis. But I need to, that's why we have this 1 hour to hour and a half first time. And then from the second month onwards, it'd probably be 1 month because I would have already known your information. So every single month, like I said, the first month would be longer. From the next month onwards, it'll be 1 hour. So with that, we'll be able to diagnose everything I needed, I will have, so I'll be able to make the proper diagnosis.
Okay. And Barbara is asking, can you have two doshas and not one predominant? So what do you do if you are Vata Pitta 50-50, I guess that's what she's saying, trying to say is what I understand.
All of us are all doshas. We have to have all those three biological humors, Vata, Pitta, and Kapha. We have to have that, otherwise we cannot be alive, right? So what we are looking at is the proportion of your dosha, proportion of your constitution. Some people are equal Vata, Pitta, and Kapha. Some people are Vata predominant, Pitta and Kapha secondary, right? So we have to understand what is your predominant dosha, your constitution, if you have one. Some people are tridosic, all three equal. Some are two predominant, one is like a kind of a secondary. So it's a very unique condition. That's why in Ayurveda, it has to be a personalized approach to health and healing, because we are such a unique being. Even if you have like your twin sibling, you will have a different constitution. Even if you're born at the same time as like a triplets even, and three people have three different doshas. So it's a very unique condition in Ayurveda. That's the whole premise, is one size does not fit all. And that's the beautiful part of Ayurveda, to establish that on our first visit, is what is your constitution? What is your current state of imbalances? What are the things you avoid in terms of food or lifestyle activities? So when we understand all of those, then we then create a roadmap for your for the next 3 to 6 months of healing. So we create this roadmap to bring you back to balance.
Sure. And Cynthia has a question, Manish. Do you prescribe for all the people who join the course to get blood exactly works up before and after, before they start the program? Would you tell them to get a blood test and then
that is optional, because what I've realized is some people in the modern day, you have a modern mind, myself included, so it's all optional. Do you want to see what were your blood markers were before you sign up for the program, and then 6 months later you want to see what has changed? Because just for your own mind, it's nice to see that. Like I wanna do something like where we could back up by facts, right? How do I back up is if you could demonstrate for yourself, like, okay, I was here, my A1C, for example, was 5.7. A1C is your diabetic, like a marker, right? A sugar metabolism, right? So if you came here like a 1.7 marker, and then all of a sudden 6 months later your A1C is 4.5, that is something we could document, like saying, hey, from 5.7 we went back to 4.5. So
Yeah.
then we can convince the modern mass that, hey, Ayurveda is not that ancient. Actually, this is way far beyond any medical practice out there. It works. So then you have this, you can feel like, okay, this is working for me. So that is more up to you. This is more optional.
Okay. So we have another question from Ritika. She's asking about the Ayurvedic advice for inflammation in the body.
Yeah.
I think you talked about the 6-hour protocol, right?
Inflammation in the body, obviously, it all starts in your gut. So that's why we need to fix the gut. Once we heal the gut, then everything lines up perfectly, which is, the big elephant in the room is always the gut. So the inflammation always starts from the gut health, because gut regulates everything: circulation, your brain, your hormone system, your immunity, everything is regulated by brain. Inflammation is no different. Okay, so once we fix the gut, then we can obviously the inflammation will subside.
Okay. I think amazing session, Manish. All right, there's another question. Wow. Does Ayurveda recommend to soak the nuts and seeds in water before consuming?
Well, soaking the nuts would help digest and assimilate. Again, one size does not fit all. However, people who have a weaker digestive system, they cannot digest nuts and seeds easily, so soaking helps. Okay, that's the reason why we soak. But if you have a very strong digestive fire or agni, then it doesn't need to be soaked. Again, know where you are on the spectrum.
Great. Any last comments from anyone? Any, before we end the session? Thank you very much. You're welcome. Anything else anyone wants to say, you're welcome to say. You're welcome to comment. You're welcome to give us feedback. We are here to help you live naturally, healthy. And we, NourishDoc is on a mission to do that. Yes, Devi, do you want to say something?
Yeah, I have a question. And also, thank you. This was really great.
Thank you, David.
My question is, you had said that really it's better to use the seeds and not powders.
Mm-hmm.
But are we also supposed to ground them as before we use them? Or
No,
are you saying
you're not. No, you're not grounding them. What you're doing is in the Ayurvedic cooking, you're always using the base oil for cooking your vegetables or anything you're cooking. There has to be some oil, either ghee if you eat dairy. Ghee would be the ideal healthy fat, or sesame oil or avocado oil or coconut oil, whatever the oil you're using. You have to heat up that oil, and then you add those seeds, and then once they brown, the seeds, and then you add your vegetables or greens.
Mm-hmm.
So it is not grounded. The seeds are not grounded before you are cooking.
Okay, that's clear. Thank you.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
All right. We
I
have
live in San Rafael, so I'm
Oh,
close
wow.
enough
cool.
to you.
You're
I
right in the
love-
neighborhood.
I
We-
love
we were-
that area, Davey. I love that area. I was in Petaluma, Sebastopol last weekend.
Oh, beautiful. Yeah, no, we
Yeah.
talk hello to Romania and all over the world, and here you are in our backyard. Amazing. All right, we have another question, and probably the last one, guys. I mean, we can have another session. This is amazing, all the questions that are coming up. What advice would you give for IBS that includes vomiting? I think you talked a little bit about the personalized approach earlier as well.
Yeah, for IBS and vomiting, again, we need to look into your diet for the last 5 to 10 years. What have you been eating? Okay. And some of the, besides the diet and lifestyle, I also want to stress how much, I mean, I really want to focus on how much stress do you have in your life. One of the things the gut health goes south is the amount of stress we are like, we are faced like the tiger in the room. So back in the days in our ancestry, there was a tiger in the jungle and people had to run away. But in the modern day, it almost feels like there's a tiger in the room all day, every day, right? So that really depletes your gut health. So all the neurotransmitter, every single hormone production are influenced. So we also need to look at how much stress you have in your life. How are you handling them besides the food? So I can go on forever, but I cannot simplify the question. I would say there's a multitudes of issues we need to address the IBS or leaky gut and so forth.
Great. Well, you're welcome. You're welcome. So I'm going to end this session, guys. I think we've taken 1.5 hours. So I think it's if you have more questions, please let us know via email, and, we can have another session later on. But I'd like to thank Manish for being with us. And here is the overall detail. We will be sending all the details. So don't worry about memorizing anything at all. But if you want to email us or give us a feedback, you know how to find us. With that, I'd like to thank Manish for being with us. Manish, thank you.
Thank you, Amita, for having me, and everyone who attended from far and wide, near and far. I appreciate your sharing this beautiful time this morning here with us. Hope to see you guys sometime in the future, one way or the other.
Absolutely. And happy new year and happy healthy gut. That's what we were talking about. And have a great day, rest of the weekend. Bye now.